So my training, because I work as a fitness trainer back on the Isle of Man, it's quite varied. Some people probably follow a really strict plan. I would love to do that, but the nature of my job means sometimes that's quite difficult for me to do. I don't believe me going for this challenge should affect my job and my clients. They still continue with their training, which sometimes I will have to join in with. So sometimes I could be quite tired in the day from doing a couple of different sessions with those guys, which will mean, yes, I'll get miles in my legs, I can still go out and do my own bit, but I can't necessarily make it too specific because I don't want my business on the other side to be subjected to that. So it's kind of fitting in what I can when I can, and at times it will have to be using what I do for a living to also supplement that. When I'm running, probably like everyone else, a lot of things go through my head. I'd love to say I have some Muhammad Ali quote that I live my life by, and that goes through my head and these things flash up, but it's not true. Usually, there's a shop down the road from me that sells this huge £1 bag of like cinema sweet popcorn, and in the last sort of quarter of my run, that's what kind of goes through my head. I know it costs £1, it's great value for money. If I forgot my wallet, I have to start thinking about, have I got enough money in the ashtray in my car to pay for that? And if I haven't got that, I know the boys will have some at home for cinema night, and what day of the week is it, and will I be able to go home, rustle away their packet and replace it before Friday night, before film night? My best run memory, it's a strange one. When I was at school, they had an inter-house cross-country at the end of every year, and I wasn't the best runner. I could run, I did a lot of sports, quite diverse, but running wasn't my top one. I'd probably say I was 8th. So I was in the top 10, but I was there or thereabouts, and there's a lot of pressure in the house that I was in at school to kind of win this trophy that we'd sort of retained for many years. So when I joined this house, I just decided to go out every day for about 3 weeks before the finals, and I came 4th, which to me was first, because I was never going to beat the top 3. We did retain the trophy, but it was the first memory that I had where I realised that you couldn't just kind of wing running. You couldn't turn up and just put on a show for the day and gain 4th without having put in those 2-3 weeks. Which wasn't a lot of training those days, but when you're sort of 14, that was a lifetime of training for me at that time. So here to run the 10 and 10, lots of different reasons really. Yes, I like a challenge. I've done a few things in the past for charities, based on the Isle of Man. I'm based in England. And I like sort of always tying in the two of the challenge with the charity aspect. 3.5 years ago, I was in Morocco doing Marathon des Sables, and one of my tent mates, we were just talking about challenges and varied things that we'd like to do and we'd like to tick off, and he mentioned the 10. I'd never heard of it at the time, and it just kind of resonated, it stuck in my head. These aren't my words, his words were, if we're doing 6 in the desert, how hard can 10 in the Lake District be? At the time, it sounded quite easy because we had a nice comfy bed as we were sleeping on the floor. 3 years later, it's clearly not as easy. But it just kind of resonated with me. It sat in the back of my head, and I thought, after a few years, I got in touch, and literally got in touch, and within a couple of days, I was one of the last members to be accepted.